basically looking at the qualification, the units that we're going to cover. Now, there are mandatory units and there are optional units, as you can see, right? Now, in the mandatory units, if you see organization behavior, this unit I'm going to deliver. When you look at managing finance in the public sector, this is going to be delivered by a colleague of mine called Anjum, and he's a double master in accounting and finance, and he will deliver this to you.
Okay.
Okay, so he will touch base with you separately. Now, we are a team of 7 or 8 tutors who basically deliver all qualifications. So I deliver practically 7 different qualifications. I can do teaching, business and management, HRM, supply chain logistics, and healthcare. But we have specialist tutors that you will also see, which will meet with you and obviously deliver these qualifications, because it will be helpful to see a variety of tutors for teaching.
Okay.
I will send you a schedule after this session today, which will give you an idea in terms of when these units will be covered. So it will be 1 or 2 units that we are going to be covering every week with you, but you will have different people maybe teaching you different units as well.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in terms of healthcare policy, this unit is going to be taught by Kulshin. We have another unit which is managing continuous organizational improvement and developing organizational vision and direction. Now, either these units will be taken by me or will be taken by Phil.
Okay.
Research for senior managers is an area that I teach, so I will start this unit with you today, because this is, as you can see, the highest credit unit. It has got 25 credits on it.
Okay.
So this unit, what we do is we start with the course. When you start with us on the course, we start this unit, and you have then 6 to 8 weeks to be able to complete the research that you're going to undertake and do for this unit. So I'm going to start off this unit with you today, and there'll be 3 or 4 sessions that we will do to give you some basic understanding of why research is required, how research is done, what could be an area of research that you could do and do the assignment on, and we will discuss this today.
Okay.
And there are some additional units that we will also do. One is human resources management. This unit I will end up taking, and there's another unit called project management, which also I will be delivering.
Okay.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units in general. Just give 1 second.
I've done the organizational behavior.
Yeah.
Do I have to do it again?
No. You don't need to do it again. I think what we will do is we will prioritize those units that you haven't studied. We will cover them first. And I know that you've sent me assignments on 1 or 2 of your units that you've done, and we are going to give you some feedback on the assignment this week.
Lovely.
So we are going to cover, just to understand which unit you've covered. You've covered 6.1 already?
Yeah.
And which other unit have you done?
I've done risk management.
This is 6.4. That's fine. So what we're going to do is, obviously, technically speaking, we'll look at the delivery of these units 6.1 and the risk management, which is this one, towards the fag end of the course.
Okay.
Okay. So if we find that you are not meeting the criteria on the assignment, then what I'm going to do is obviously, look at delivering these units once we have completed delivery of, these units in total.
Okay.
These are the main ones that we are going to concentrate on.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start off with one of the units, which is, research for senior managers today. This is just to get you started. But at some stage, what will happen is maybe this week or next week, you'll have another unit which will start with you, which is the core unit of this program called International Healthcare Policy.
Okay.
Right? Now, so basically looking at 6 units here, which is about 75 credits. If I look at these total credits, it's about 75. And then if I look at the additional units which you've done, which is 15 here and 10 here, that makes it 25. So 25, 40 and 30, 30, 70, 80, 95, 100, 110, and that makes it 120. So you're on course as far as, the unit credits are concerned to be able to achieve, 120 credits as long as we cover these units, which will help you cover your diploma.
Okay, lovely.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try and send you a schedule. So you will maybe receive a couple of invites, like I'll show you on the website. So for example, I've aligned, as of now, you must have received 4 emails. One of the sessions, which is we are doing today, then there's a follow-up session on 21st June, Wednesday. There's a follow-up session on 28th June, and there's a last follow-up session on 5th July, which will complete research for senior managers.
Okay.
And then I will send you, once we start another unit, then we'll send you an invite which will come across to you for another unit, and we will take it from there. So every invite which comes to you will basically be an email like this, as you can see.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And when you click join, you're basically using this link to click and join, and that allows you to basically join the session with us, using this link.
Okay.
If you want, you can double click on this invite, and if you use a Google Calendar or something, you can also add this to your schedule or your calendar on the phone, and it's easier for you to remember that.
Okay.
This gives you all the details. When you double click it in the calendar, it gives you all the details. There are a couple of students, but it'll give you all the details of how to join, what is the access code for the meeting, as you can see here, and all those things will be ready, available with you when we do the sessions. Fine?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is we'll start off with the first bit on understanding, the research for senior managers. And what I've also done is, for certain units, what we've done is we've created these workshop manuals or handbooks in particular that you will receive, and they are extensive. I think if you go through this particular handbook on research project that I've sent to you, this will pretty much cover everything that we are also going to discuss in the presentations in these sessions.
Okay.
Okay. So if you read this, you don't need to read any other book, because this will give you absolutely detailed understanding of how research is to be done.
Okay.
Okay. Now, but what we want to be able to do is, in order to get you started, we will also go through some, outline. I know the workshop manual that I've sent to you is basically, quite detailed. You can read along as you have free time, but we will also discuss some of these things in the sessions that we do, in these webinar sessions that we meet. Right. So today what I'm going to do is basically look at starting off with the first session, which is research, and it'll give you some background and idea in terms of how and why do we need to look at research in particular for the unit. Okay. One quick thing which I just want to share with you, because I know you've been contacting me obviously on WhatsApp, and it is good that you're trying to read the content and other things on the learning platform. I'm just going to try and point out one or two quick clarifications so that you are aware of these. When you go onto your course, as I mentioned to you earlier, basically all the assigned briefs that you want to look at are basically given here, which are always files called essay. As you can see, these files here, which are essay files. So if you look at assignment brief for any particular unit, what you're looking at doing is basically clicking on the Word document, which will give you the assignment brief. So this is the assignment here for organization behavior. Similarly, for research project, that's the assignment brief here, 7.5 essay.
Is that the assignment?
This is the assignment. This is the assignment. So if you click on this, the Word document actually downloads, and you can then open the file, and that's the assignment brief.
Okay. Because I wrote it down. I was reading the policy, about the policy, and I've got the assignment like is analyze approaching to the healthcare policy formation. Is it 1.1, 1.2, 1.3? Is that the assignment there?
That is assignment. See, there are two things that you can look at. One is any qualification that you are teaching. There are two documents are available which are useful. One is a document which is called the unit specification that you see here.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other document is basically called, which is a Word document, which is called the assignment brief. Now, both these are issued by the awarding organization. So they are issued by ATHE. They are not made by us. Now, when we teach, we are going to teach you as per this particular learning outcome format. These are the learning outcomes that we need to teach you to understand. Now, in some cases, what happens is students or learners find it easy to basically pick up tasks from here and then answer task by task to do the assignment.
Yes.
Okay. So if you follow this, then what I would suggest is when you start doing your assignment in the Word document, you basically do a small introduction saying that you are basically looking at following the assignment, not following the assignment brief, but following the unit specification to be able to do the assignment.
Okay.
Okay, so it becomes clearer for the assessor that you followed the specification rather than the assignment brief to do the assignment.
Yeah.
Okay. In some of the cases, the assignment brief is helpful because it gives you a scenario, gives you some idea in terms of the word count and word limit required, and it simplifies all these tasks into a lesser number of tasks for you to do the work.
Okay.
So if you ask me personally as a tutor, I'm going to ask you to follow the assignment brief.
Okay.
Because here, if you see in the back of the the assignment, there is something called Guideline for Assessors. It is like a cheat sheet, it's like a cheating sheet or a cheat sheet which gives the student
more
example.
information.
It gives you clear example that what the tutor is going to be looking for when he reads your assignment. So as you can see in this one task which says design your research question, aims and objectives, scope, and what is going to be the success criteria, it covers 3 tasks. But if I have to do this here, I have to do each of them individually.
Okay.
Can you see? So it gives a clear indication, and also to the learner, it gives a clear indication that what is going to be looked at when you actually do submit your final work.
Yeah.
Okay, just to give you an example before we start, I'm on this. I'm just going to show you, say, an example of an assignment for research, which has been done by a particular student. So here we've done the marking and checking. The research project has passed. It has very limited similarity, 1.7%. And this particular research project, the learner has actually done on an example called the role of product features in buying decision, a case study of PVC external wall cladding or free foam from UK. He's done a declaration, for this, and then table of contents, which basically, if you see, matches your unit specification here. So he has basically done the research project assignment using this. 1.1, identify suitable area of research, identify suitable area of research. Can you see?
Yes.
So it is up to you, and how you define it, how you do it, is something which obviously then marks the assignment. So he's done a task, explain the aim, scope, objectives,
Okay.
And he goes to do the next task, justify the aim of choice, because now he's formulating a research question. So he's done 1.5 before the others. And then once he's justified the research question, he's established success criteria that, okay, this is the area I want to do the research on. So what I want to do is define the area of research first, and then define what will be the success of that research. And then towards the end, we will develop something called a research sheet. So if you see, order actually changes to this because the way you will follow is actually defined here. So these documents go hand in hand. So when you read the unit specification, you will also look at the assignment brief, because they'll go hand in hand. Because after A comes B, you can't say C. Sometimes you have to follow that order. So that makes it easier for you to be able to understand the unity topic as well, and then you can follow it through. And then he's done the literature review first, and then after the review of the literature has been done, then only you define what is the research methodology.
Exactly. Okay.
Right. And so he's followed that through, and then he's done it, in terms of a detailed, obviously then data analysis, and towards the end there's the presentation of, findings, which is chapter or basically learning outcome 5. Okay. So in some cases, because of the logical flow of the content and the subject that you're studying, it is easier to club a few tasks and do it together, or one after the other, rather than follow this particular, the stepwise procedure of doing the, the assignment brief.
Yeah.
So it will be up to you, whichever you follow. Either you follow the unit specification or you follow the assignment brief. It's up to you, but make sure that you kind of clarify it in the introduction when you write the assignment.
Yeah, just I want to ask you, here, like assessment criteria is 1.1, 1.2, 1.4. That's like merit, pass, merit, distinction.
No. In these qualifications, as you can see, the grading structure is only pass. There is only achieved or not yet achieved.
Okay.
At master's level, you do not have any pass, merit, distinction.
Okay. Yeah.
At undergraduate level, in the degree qualifications, or even in any qualifications that you do at the undergraduate level, which is level 4, 5, 6, you have pass, merit, distinction. But at the master's level, it's achieved or not yet achieved.
Okay. And then what does this mean? Then here in this box, you've got 1.1, 1. That one. Yeah, this one. That one. Yeah.
That means if you write your research proposal and you explain the aim, objectives, and the success criteria, you are actually hitting 3 tasks which are required in the assignment brief.
Okay.
So if you write, say, 200-300 words, when you say, my research question is, I'm looking at investigating the impact of customer satisfaction on the business and brand of, say, Virgin Media, Virgin Holidays. Now, if you define the research, which is the title, you define the aim and objectives, like in this, I'm looking at studying what is important parameters for customer satisfaction, how important is customer satisfaction for users to make decision. And lastly, it could be that you will give recommendations to say how Virgin Holidays can improve customer satisfaction. So they have this, you have defined the aim and objectives of the research. And then towards the end, when you write, how are you going to go about measuring the objectives? Like for the customer satisfaction, I'm going to be looking at doing a survey and data collection through questionnaire. And I will also do literature review, wherein I will study the key 5 parameters as per the research on what is involved in customer satisfaction. And if you write those success criteria, you will have done 3 tasks of the research, which is 1.1, 1.3, and 1.4.
Okay.
Right? So assuming if you have to do this assignment, you have 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3, 8, 11, and 5, 16 tasks to do. But if you do these, if you do this bit, then out of the 18 or 16 tasks, you've done 3. And when you say you have made some recordings of, your questionnaire and your analysis in terms of collection of data, then you would have hit task 1.2 and 1.5.
Okay.
Right? So here, what you'll have to do is formulate a questionnaire, which will be, something that you kind of attach towards the end. And once you've done the questionnaire and you've collected data, then you are basically then in that case completing task 1.2 and 1.5.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll come to that. Don't worry about it. We'll come to that. The assignment discussion we are doing is good that you're taking interest on this, but I think at some stage when you get to doing it, you will understand that this is something which is required, and you will need to follow both the the specification, and at some stage you will also require to follow the assignment brief.
Okay.
Right. Now, what we are going to do is obviously start off with some basics today in terms of how can you look at picking up a area of research in your in your unit. Is that okay?
Okay.
That's fine. So basically today we are going to do is start off with the first presentation, and in this what I'm looking at covering is how do you define your research, or how do you define your research objectives? Because you need to know clearly that here what we're looking at is in terms of the research, you're looking at a word limit of you're doing a dissertation which is required in universities. You're looking at doing a research project which is going to be around 5,000 words maximum.
Okay.
So the idea is that we need to be able to define an area of research which will be suitable enough that you can complete within the next 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so what today we are looking at is in terms of the presentation, we are looking at understanding how you are going to do the research and what is the nature and form of research that you're going to do.
Okay.
Okay, now there are certain things that we will go through, which is to understand, why it is important that you decide the research area yourself and you don't ask me to decide the research area for you. You can pick up any topic, any issue, or any problem that you see, which is something that it is something that you want to be discussing, you're passionate about, maybe researching why this problem occurs or why there is an issue, and that could become the area of your research as long as you are able to formulate it into some sort of topic, title, and also define the objectives. Now, if I say, for example, here, because it is time bound and you have to do it in 6 to 8 weeks, what we want to be able to do is have a title or an area of research wherein you are not kind of picking up something which is quite detailed, right? Now, a simple title of research would be, if you work within the health and social care or, work within a particular sector, you might pick up a small area like the impact of, say, late comings or impact of absenteeism, for office hours and office work within the place of your work. That is a very small area of research. But if people take holidays or they take days off without informing, then how does it lead to loss of productivity, for example, in the office? Because somebody else has to pick up the job while you're not in on that particular day. So what we have to keep in mind here is the area of research that you do pick up for this particular unit. You have to keep in mind that it is not going to be a very broad area, but a very narrow area which you can complete in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And you are able to clearly define research objectives for which you can collect data from the market. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there are some traps that we see that we can get into when we are looking at doing a research. Sometimes I have learners who come to me and say, okay, we want to do a research in finding out, why is Apple charging so much of price for its product? Just as an example. I have learners in health and social care which will come up to me and they say, okay, I want to look at an improvement project within my care home or within my place of work, wherein I want to look at how can training and development help in improving delivery of services to patients or client in terms of patient care in my nursing home. Mm-hmm. Now this involves, as you see, when it talks about looking at things like how to improve the delivery of care to patients in the nursing home. The delivery of care is an area which will involve nurses, doctors, consultants, patient. And because you have too many variables in this moment, that means you have too many people to contact to be able to do this. It becomes a very wide area of research, which will not be possible for you to do in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So one of the key things that we look at, the 3 traps that we look at, when we decide an area of research at the M level is master's level, is that you have to guard against the 3 potential problems that can delay your research. The first problem that I put across is the trap of Narcissists. That means where the researcher looks at producing the title, but actually cannot deliver substantive results on it. You've got a very good title that you want to look at improving patient care in the nursing home or in your care home, but in order to study that particular research area, you have to collect a lot of data which you are not able to collect. And that is a trap of Narcissists. I'll explain what that means. It's a common mistake which you make, wherein you pick up a very fancy title, but you are not able to collect the data because of the compounding problems or a lot of people getting involved to be able to collect that data. Okay. Second thing that we see is the trap of Hercules, which is basically where the researcher actually proposes a study which is far too big to be done in the time frame in which you have to do it. Okay, so you are picking up a Herculean task of doing a very detailed research, which is not required at this level for you to do as far as the course is concerned. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the third bit is the trap of Cerberus. That means, the proposed research that you're doing is so sensitive. It requires collection of sensitive data that sometimes you do not get permissions to be able to go out and collect data or, get information, because that information involves data protection or it involves collecting information from people wherein the information could be sensitive in their nature. So when you look at improving the patient care, improving delivery of patient care, in that case, what the problem would be that sometimes when you go and want to get data about patients, their personal data, that data might not be made available to you in terms of their previous illnesses or previous treatments that they've received, because that is under the Data Protection Act, something very, very personal, and that you will not get access to be able to do analysis on that research. Okay. So these are 3 things that we have to look at when we are doing research at this level, that you do not create or choose a title or an area of research wherein these 3 traps become the possible hindrances or, possible, areas wherein they become drawbacks for you to not be able to complete the research. Okay. Is that okay? Now, yes. Just explaining this a bit further, so Narcissus is basically, it's a Greek term, which basically means that, in Greek mythology, basically the word basically meant was that the hunter who actually, wanted to hunt the lion or something like that, but could not do it because, he could not find the lion itself to hunt. So here the common mistake that we see is that you start thinking about the title of research, but that you get so involved in creating or thinking about the research title that you forget about the other bits like aim, objectives, and other areas of how you will accomplish the research. So in general, what we want to be able to do is that we want to kind of avoid these 3 traps, because our focus is that we need to be able to complete an assignment. We need to choose a small area of research, and that area of research that we choose is something wherein I can find information easily, either through secondary research or from the internet. I should have access to the participants, from which I'm going to ask them to participate in a questionnaire or a survey. And the third thing is, it has 1 or 2 objectives, not 3 or 4 or 4 or 5, just 1 or 2 objectives, 1 major objective and 1 minor objective, so that I'm able to complete the research without having to depend on lot many people or, collection of data for the requirements of meeting this assignment.
Okay.
Is that okay? That is what it means. Obviously, it's just explaining that in the bit of, the examples of the 3 traps that we normally look at. Sometimes I have students who come in to me and they say, we want to do a PhD. And I said, okay, what do you want to do a PhD in? Is I want to do a PhD in business and management sector. Okay, that's very good. But what in business and management sector? So they have no clue. And that clue is because that is a big sector, business and management. Because they have no detail in terms of what they want to do their PhD in. That is what is called the trap of narcissists. That means they only have the title, but they don't have the details of the research they want to do. Okay?
Yes.
So the idea here is, the idea of this particular brief is,
how many questions, how many words then for the research roughly?
I think we are looking at not more than 5,000 words.
Okay.
Right? And the second bit is, because you want to do a research, the research should not have too many objectives. It should have just 1 or 2 objectives that you want to do.
Okay.
Right? So in the case of delivery of patient care, this is the title of the project: how to improve delivery of patient care in a nursing home. Right? You might choose a nursing home, like a particular nursing home, which will be the place where you will do the research, and then the delivery of patient care. Now, what are the objectives in that? What do you want to study? So you might go to the nursing home and say, they might tell you that, okay, the problem is within the nursing home, we have old equipment, we have shortage of nurses. They might also say we have consultants who come in only on local, and because of which, sometimes important, appointments get missed. We don't have a resident doctor, for example. So these are all areas which are problem areas.
Could you give me 1 second? Somebody's knocking the door.
No worries, no worries. Okay. Hello, you change your number. Yeah.